Okay, so second half of this page, on page 111. Number 3, after you listen, read. Complete the story. So we're going to complete this story based on what we just heard in the video, in the audio, okay? But before we do that, let's go through these words, okay, in our gray oval, all right? So first word, and actually some of these are phrases, all right? So I'm going to break this up into phrases and words, all right? So the first phrase is broke into. Okay, broke into. The next phrase is come over. Come over. This word is crime. Crime. The next is a phrase. It is got into, or sorry, got in, not into. It's got in. All right, got in. The next word is mess. Mess. The next word is robbed. Robbed. The next word is robber. Robber. The next word is stole. Stole. And then the last word is worried. Worried. Okay? Now, if you don't know what some of these words or phrases are, go ahead and take some time to look them up. All right? Even if you have to translate them into your native language so that you know what they are. Most of these are in the past tense. Okay? So most of these are in the simple past tense. Broke is past tense. Got is past tense. Robbed, past tense. Stole is past tense. And worried, past tense. All right? We can also kind of figure out what these words are and when we plug them into our story. All right? So let's do that. Let's plug these words into our story. The first one is done for us. Monica calls Samantha with bad news. While Monica and Todd were out, someone broke into their home. And I wrote down stole their TV, DVD player, jewelry, and some cash. Monica is upset because I chose robber, because the robber took her mother's ring. She says the person, I wrote down, got in through a window in the back room or back bedroom. Samantha is, I wrote down, worried. So Samantha is worried. She says they never used to have so much crime, I wrote down crime, in their neighborhood. She tells Monica that last week someone, I put down robbed, so it's past tense, right? Robbed their, their neighbor, Mr. Purdy, too. Samantha thinks they should start a neighborhood watch program. Monica agrees. But first, she needs to clean up the mess in her house. Samantha offers to come over and help. Come over and help. Okay? So that's what I got. That's what I wrote down. please share what you wrote down as well. Hopefully we came to the same answers. Okay? If not, please listen to the track again, and you might even want to go through lesson number 2 there, listening, right, where we wrote down our notes, and hopefully you will come up with these answers. All right. So B, talk with a partner. Right? You can do anything. You can do this with anyone, right? So it doesn't have to be a native English speaker, but it can be anyone, and maybe you would write down what they said and translate it from your native language to English. All right. But talk with a partner. Tell about a crime that happened to you or someone you know. Okay, tell about a crime that happened to you or someone you know. All right. Okay, good. So let's take some time and let's do that. All right. And then when we come back to the video, we'll move on to page 112. Okay, so now we are in lesson B. All right, we're moving along. Unit 9, Daily Living, lesson B. In lesson B, we're going to talk about the past continuous tense. Okay, this is a new tense. It is the past continuous tense. All right, so let's look at the definition. The past continuous tense, also known as the past progressive tense, refers to a continuing action or state that has happened at some point in the past. The past continuous tense is formed by combining the past tense of to be, of the verb to be. All right. For example, was, were. Okay. Past tense of to be, was, were, depending on who you're talking about. All right. I was, you were. He, she, it was. They, we were. Okay. So let me read that again. The past continuous tense is formed by combining the past tense of the verb to be, for example, or i.e., was, were, with the verb's present participle, ing. Okay. There are many situations in which the verb tense might be used in a sentence. Okay, so this is a tense that we use a lot. Okay, we use this verb tense a lot in English. Okay, and we use it for almost everything. All right, before we talked about other tenses where we only used it for time or for certain situations, but this one we use for almost everything. All right, almost every action that happened in the past. For example, it is often used to describe conditions that existed in the past. Here's an example. I was watching TV at 7 p.m. Notice, I was watching. Was the past tense of the verb to be, right? Because of I was. And then watching. This is the verb's present participle, ing, with the ending ing. So the base verb is watch. Present participle, watching. I was watching TV at 7 p.m. Here's another example. As I spoke, comma, the children were laughing at my jokes. Okay. The children, they, were laughing. Were, laugh plus ing, at my jokes. So, like I said, when I think about these tenses, sometimes I have to use pictures, right, for me. So this would be the picture that I think of. a continuous thing that happened, excuse me, that happened in the past. All right, not just one point in time in the past, but it happened continuously. It didn't reach the present yet. It just happened continuously in the past. It started and finished in the past. Okay? Let's look at this a little bit more. Functions of past continuous tense. The past continuous describes actions or events in a time before now, which began in the past and were still going on when another event occurred. Okay? So let me read that again. The past continuous describes actions or events in a time before now. All right? So basically in the past, which began in the past, makes sense, and were still going on, right? Still going on when another event occurred. Okay, so something else happened, but this all happened in the past. Okay? This is how it's used. Often to describe the background in a story written in the past tense. Okay? Often used to describe the background in a story written in the past tense. Here's an example. The sun was shining and the birds were singing as the elephant came out of the jungle. Okay? So, two events happened. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. Okay? To describe an unfinished action that was interrupted, right? Stopped by another action, by another event or action. Okay? So here's an example. I was having a beautiful dream when the alarm clock rang. Okay? So I was having a beautiful dream. That was the action. Then it got interrupted when the alarm clock rang. Okay? We also use it to express change of mind. Right? Change of mind. Change of thinking. Okay? Here's an example. I was going to spend the day at the beach, but I've decided to get my homework done instead. Okay? So I was going to spend the day at the beach. All right, but then I changed my mind, right? But, okay, I've decided to get my homework done instead. We also use past continuous tense with wonder, with the word wonder, to make a very polite request. Here's an example. I was wondering if you could babysit for me tonight. Okay, this is a polite request. We usually use the word wonder. We use the base verb plus ing. I was wondering if you could babysit for me tonight. All right? All right. So let's talk about the past continuous tense forms. All right, some more examples. Okay, so we have the subject. This is how we set it up. Okay, this is how we set up using the past continuous form. We have our subject. We have our past tense of the verb to be, was or were, right? Depending on who or what you're talking about, or to, right? I was, you were. He, she, it was. They, we were. All right? And then we have the base verb plus ing. Here's the first example of a statement. They were watching. Okay? This is how we use the present continuous tense in a positive statement. She was reading. This is how we use the present with the past continuous tense in the negative statement. She wasn't or was not reading. This is how we use it in a positive question. Was she reading? Okay, notice how these swap places. They switch places, okay? Instead of saying she wasn't reading or she was reading, right, we say was she reading? Okay, and then asking a negative question. Wasn't she reading? Wasn't or was not. We usually just say wasn't. Wasn't she reading? Okay, so that's how we set it up. And that's how we set up past continuous tense. All right, so hopefully we have gone through this enough so that we can now turn our books over to page 112 and actually learn more about how to use past continuous. All right, lesson B, past continuous. Grammar focus, questions and answers. Use the past continuous to talk about actions that were happening at a specific time in the past. The actions were not completed at that time. So we're going to talk about, in this example, we're going to talk about an action that happened in a specific time in the past, but were not completed at that time. Okay? If you have a chance to scan this barcode, you can watch a quick video about how to use past continuous tense in this form. Okay? So let's move on. And remember, down here in our little notification box, wasn't equals was not, weren't equals were not. Okay? Questions. What was Beth doing yesterday morning? Okay? Was doing. The answer. She was cleaning her house. Was cleaning. What were the neighbors doing at 10 o'clock? Answer. They were watching TV. Question. Question. What were you doing Friday night? Answer. I was doing my homework. Okay. Question. Was Maria visiting a neighbor last night? Now notice how we have changed the way we write the question, or the way we say the question. All right. Now we're leading with the verb to be. Was Maria visiting, verb plus ing, the continuous, a neighbor last night. Now we can answer with short yes or no answers. Yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. Question. Were they watching a movie at 8:30? Short answers. Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Were you working overtime on the weekend? Short answer. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Okay, so that's how we use the past continuous with questions and answers for actions that happen in a specific time in the past but were not completed at that time. Okay? Number 2, practice. Write. Complete the sentences. Use the verbs in the word box below. Use the past continuous. All right? So we have to use the past continuous form or tense of these. Okay? Let's look at these words and let's go over them to make sure we know how to pronounce them. Okay? First word is attend. Attend. Babysit. Babysit. bake, bake, drive, drive, eat, eat, paint, paint, play, play, study, study, visit, visit, work, work, and then watch, watch. Okay, so those are our words in our word box. The first question is done for us. All right, Roberto and Maya, we were watching a movie at the Rialto Theater. Okay, we're talking about Roberto and Maya. First person, we were watching a movie at the Rialto Theater. All right, so now let's take some time and go through 2 through 10, okay, and use our verbs in the word box and plug them into our to our questions here, and use the past continuous. All right, and when we come back, pause the video, and when we come back, we will go through these together. All right, you can also, if you get stuck, right, this might be a little new for some of us, right? So if you do get stuck, you can scan this barcode and listen to the track, all right, that will go through these answers. All right, if you have the older book, it's CD number 2, track number 25. All right, so let's take some time and do that, and we'll come back and go through these questions together.